Hey you guys, it's the Glamour Witch and I am back for another video. So today's video is a long awaited, I know. A lot of things have been going on. I know you guys have been feeling the energies, Mercury retrograde, all the retrogrades, and just the fucking craziness of our world. But I am here for another video, and today we are going to be talking about how to sage and smudge your space, also the different types of smudging apparatuses and different types of smudging techniques that I find really work for me and my space. So I'm going to walk you through first the different types of smudging, so sage, Palo Santo, resins, sweetgrass, and all that stuff. And then I'm going to walk you through actually how to properly sage and smudge your space. So if you want to learn how to do that, just keep watching. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about what smudging is. The technique of smudging is literally using smoke to cleanse or purify the space energetically. So you can use sage, you can use Palo Santo, people use sweetgrass and cedar. They use so many different things, Vasant A, and so many different things. So when you use these things, what are you trying to do? So there are actual scientific research that shows that the levels of bacteria that is floating through the space actually gets cleared with things like sage and Palo Santo. And it's really great for clearing the energy and resetting the vibrational frequency of the space before ritual work, or just overall, maybe things are stagnant. Maybe you just had a fight with somebody. Maybe you're feeling sluggish in your space, especially right now where there is so much heavy energies at play. You want to make sure that you're continuing to cleanse and clear your space so that you can operate at your highest vibrational frequency. Now, another really great way to use sage is to cleanse your crystals and cleanse your spiritual tools. You can cleanse yourself and sage yourself, sage your kitchen and all your items that you use, that you take and you cook with. It can be great for clearing out things like sicknesses or dis-ease and really helping to recirculate vibrational energies that you want. Maybe if the space is stagnant, maybe you're feeling like you can't really get into your creative vibe. And I'm going to talk to you about places that you want to focus on when smudging and saging in just a little bit. Now, this is a dragon's blood dipped sage bundle, but you can always buy regular white sage, which I would say be careful about using that because it is kind of going extinct right now, unfortunately, because people buy it a lot. You can use this, it's very popular. I like the dragon's blood dipped sage because I feel like it has a little bit more oomph and it has a little bit more potency. I also like the way it smells, and it's just a different vibration than regular sage. But regular sage is really, really great. And I feel like you should think about regular sage as like completely clearing all energies. It's a reset of the vibrational frequency of a space. So it pulls out, doesn't matter if it's good or bad or whatever, it just clears everything. So it's a blank canvas, but you don't want to end it there. The reason why people have other types of smudging tools or other types of things like Palo Santo or frankincense or dragon's blood or myrrh or copal or whatever the case may be is because it puts the vibration back in that space. So when you're clearing and cleansing out your entire room or your apartment or your house or your car or your crystals, you're clearing away everything that is there presently, even if it's maybe what you like or whatever the case may be, you're clearing it completely with the sage so that it can be reset. So you don't leave it like that, you have to put energy back into it so that it can be something that serves you in the highest vibration. So I'll go in with some sage and I'll go around my space and I'll really let it get smoky. Now, if you live in a space where your smoke detectors go off really easily, like my space, and mostly anybody who has a smoke detector is going to have these issues, I would say to just open up the windows. But if you can do a light saging and leave the windows closed for a little while, let the smoke kind of fill the space and then release the energy out through the windows, that is a better way of utilizing the smoke. So that way it is actually filling up the space in all the corners and nooks and crannies, and you're not just smudging and the smoke is just going back outside. But if you're somebody who's worried about your smoke detector, yeah, open a window up and really make sure that the smoke is going in the space. Next we have Palo Santo. Now Palo Santo is also very typically found in spiritual shops. It's relatively affordable and cheap. You can buy a bag of these at a wholesaler. I live here in Los Angeles, and there's some places downtown that sell wholesale bags of Palo Santo for like $5 to $7, and that's how much you pay for one sometimes at places like House of Intuition or whatever else. I ain't trying to drag House of Intuition, but it's a little expensive. Anyways. Palo Santo is really, really great because it does bring in high vibrations. I would not necessarily trust Palo Santo to do the heavy cleansing and heavy lifting, but you can use that. If you only have that as a cleansing agent, I would. Palo Santo is a wood, and it is a sweeter smelling type of smudge. So if you're somebody who doesn't really enjoy the scent of sage, or maybe you're somebody who has roommates or people who don't like the scent of sage, this is a really great thing to do after you sage. So you're resetting the energy, to go back over it with Palo Santo. It's sweet, it's pleasant, and most people will enjoy the way that it smells. Also, it puts that higher vibrational frequency back into the space. Now, if you want to use it just for yourself, it can be just to raise your vibration. I find that I will use Palo Santo when I just need a little boost and a little lift, more than I will use it to completely clear away any heavy or toxic or stagnant energy off of me. Not to say that it can't do it, but it's just like, I want to use the right cleansing agent for the right jobs. And if I'm going to use Windex to clean my dishes, maybe it will work a little bit. And I guess that's more of an extreme example, but you want to use it where it's best utilized, where it's best, amplified, if that makes any sense. So another thing that people use is Vasant A. So Vasant A is like it kind of looks like sage, but it's much harder and it smells completely different than sage. Is used in intense spiritual rituals. People will use them for accessing the spirit. They'll use it for accessing ancestors, to bless the space, to raise it so that you welcome in spiritual assistance, your ancestors, your angels, your spiritual team. It's definitely something that's more in contact with the spiritual realm and has more of a cleansing vibration that is not going to clear out the spirits. Because like I said, sage clears everything. It's one big cleansing bleaching of the space, whereas sometimes you want a cleansing agent, but you want to make sure you're not spooking away or scaring away your spiritual friends because they can't be in the space of sage, because people do use sage to clear negative spirits and entities. So think about that when you're doing a ritual or when you're trying to sage, let's say an altar space. You might want to use something that's more spirit friendly. Another really great thing people use is sweetgrass. Now, I also find that sweetgrass is something that brings in higher vibrational frequencies. It can be really great for, summoning spirits and entities that are of a higher vibration, angels, and some people even use it for the fae, to call in fae, individuals, fairies and whatnot, because it really does attract spiritual activity and spiritual assistance. It does have a sweeter smell, and so you're not worrying about it really taking over. Sweetgrass is actually a little bit more expensive when you go out and look for it, so just keep that in mind. But if you want to have sage and sweetgrass as like your upper, that would be a really great one to use, especially if you really like to have your ancestors and your angels and everybody really surrounding you and playing out in the space. I also like to use things like resins. So I have here dragon's blood, and I also have some frankincense that I got on Etsy. And I really find myself using these all the time. If you watch any of my videos, and I stay using dragon's blood and frankincense and myrrh. I also like using copal. And there's so many amazing resins out there that do so much powerful work. I feel like frankincense and myrrh has been used in so many ancient traditions for a long time as a way to raise the vibrational frequency of the space, prepare it for spiritual work, prepare it for magical work. It can be a great way to cleanse yourself and to prepare yourself for ritual, but I also find it's great for offerings to the spirit, offerings to whatever deity you're working with, to your spirit guides and your ancestors and your angels and all of those who assist you beyond the veil. I find that it's a really great gift in that smoke. Dragon's blood can be very much a defensive protection energy. If you feel like you are under attack, or if you want to double down, maybe you did the protection working, or you did a protection bath, or you did sprinkled the protection powder around your space, and you want to go and take the dragon's blood resin and smudge and smudge your doorways and your windows with that extra potent energy of protection and that fiery energy that comes forward from dragon's blood. I think that that's a really great way to increase workings and magical stuff as well. I don't really see myself using dragon's blood as a cleansing agent the way that I would use sage, but you can still use it. I mean, again, like I said, there's not really any rules, but you want to make sure you're using it in a way that's actually going to affect you. I would be using dragon's blood if I felt like I was under attack, like a psychic or spiritual attack. Maybe I am preparing myself to do a really intense work, or maybe I just got through doing a really intense work and I feel the drain of that and I want to boost back my energy. I wouldn't necessarily use something like sweetgrass to get me back to that high vibrational place or put power back into me or to help support the work that I'm doing. Dragon's blood is going to kick it up a notch that I want it to be, that's going to support the work that I just did or that I'm going to be doing. So just mix and match for appropriate intentions. And once you know what you want to use it for, then it's going to work amazing for you. Also, setting intentions while you're doing this is also a part of any type of spiritual or magical ritual that you do. And that's just kind of like obvious, but like I'm gonna say it anyways because there's somebody out there who's gonna be like, oh, all I gotta do is burn it. Like, ugh. It's like, no, you gotta burn it, and then you have to set intentions while you're burning it, because you are the magical thing. The sage and the Palo Santo and the magical tools, they're all there to assist your magic. And if you are not tapping into that and accessing it, you're just smoking up your space. So there are so many different types of things out there. I gave you guys just a little bit, but I'm gonna also be posting here a little just a little clip here of some other smudging tools and smudging herbs and things like that you can use and what they're good for, because there's so much out there and so much available to you that can support you. I talked about cedar, talked about sweetgrass, talked about all these different things, but there are a ton of different things out there for you to utilize, and I would encourage you to do your research because everything's going to be different for different needs. And you can also make your own herbal blends and have your own herbal incense. If you have a specific need, like you're trying to bring in money, or you're trying to bring in success, or you're trying to bring in love, you can make your own herbal smudging blend and sprinkle it over something like a charcoal disc. So I have here my little cauldron, and there is, you can't see it because it's kind of hot and I don't want to touch it. There is a coal in here, and if I had, like I was trying to do a love ritual and I really, really wanted to make sure that the vibration in the space was already loving, and maybe it's like a seduction or an attraction ritual, that there's herbs in there that support that and they smell really good. Or maybe I add amber and rose and a little bit of frankincense, but maybe I add sandalwood and lavender and jasmine, and these things that are very luxurious and sensual and very, very rich in their smell, that are going to fill the space and also serve to encourage the vibration of what it is I'm trying to manifest. So keep that in mind. So I'm going to go now and I'm going to show you two ways. I'm going to show you with the actual sage and the Palo Santo bundles how I would do it. And then I'm going to walk around with a tool like this. Now, if you have a abalone shell, some people have that, where they kind of hold it over, they use it to catch the ashes of the sage as it falls out, which is great because then you don't have to worry about sweeping up later. If you don't have something like that, you can use a bowl or a plate to kind of hold your sage for you while you fan it into corners. So I'm gonna set it up and I'm gonna show you now, and I'll do a little voiceover so I can actually be in what it is that I'm doing, and that way you guys can see how I'm doing it. Okay, so as you can see, I am lighting my sage here, and I'm setting intention right now. I'm speaking to my ancestors, my spirit guides, and I'm talking to them about what this period of time is going to be about in the space. I'm also kind of giving them a heads up that I'm going to be saging in here, and that all those who want to assist in the work and be present for it, they remain, and all those who or want to allow me to do that, they can leave now. And I kind of just take that second to do what I have to do for me. So now I'm just showing you, I have a feather here. You can actually purchase one of these and use it to actually carry the smoke away and into different corners. It makes it easier to direct the flow on which you're trying to smoke. So now I'm just standing in the center of the room, and I am actually going to continue to blow on the sage to activate it so I don't have to keep relighting it. And I'm going to stand right in the center. I want to stand in the center to allow the smoke to do the work from the inside out. So I'll kind of just go around in the center of the space with the smoke to start, turning in a clockwise motion. So now I'm going into the corners. I'm really going to focus on allowing the smoke to really fill up in the corners. I'm again, here you see me blowing on the sage to just activate it. And I'm praying and I'm chanting and I'm going all the way down, all the way to the very bottom of that corner. And then I'm going to trail it over the top. I'm going to make sure I go over the top of window seals and really, really get the entire window and the entire space, including the ground. We don't want to just focus on the top because the smoke will, of course, rise, but we want to make sure that we're getting every single nook and cranny. So I'm just kind of going down and saging each part. And you're going to watch me do this throughout. So the important thing to remember when you're going into the corners, like, don't let any of the furniture hinder you, because energy gets trapped behind furniture, gets trapped at doorways, gets trapped at entryways. Even though there is flow of energy going there, you want to make sure that you're getting in all the nooks and crannies. So I'm actually going to be moving this item here, and there's all types of stuff back there. See, wherever there's clutter, you want to make sure that you're really getting in there and making sure that the smoke is impacting those areas as well, where people aren't actually going to be circulating their energy through. So keep that in mind. So now I'm just going back. I'm going to do it again. I mean, I like to get really invested in this work, standing on the furniture, trailing across, over the items, over every single light fixture and piece of, art hanging on the wall. I want to cleanse everything, not just the corners and the windows, the actual furniture itself. Don't be afraid to really be involved and invested in what's going on. So I'm gonna, as you can see, I'm like just kind of blowing on it. Again, I don't want to have to keep relighting it. And my breath actually can serve as a powerful tool to, I just got popped by the smoke, as a powerful tool to increase the magical potency of what I'm doing. So I'm getting down below, I'm getting the window seals, I'm making it get the very edges of the space, trying to miss any corners, any nooks and crannies, and really making sure I'm going through very thoroughly in all of the places where energy is going to be, which is literally everywhere. This space is filled with energy, so I want the smoke to be filling the space. So now I'm going to add my frankincense into my cauldron. So remember I said I'm going to be adding in the higher vibrations. When you're using resins, you want to make sure you're using just a small amount because you can drown out the coal and then it will just stop working for you. So I'm going to activate it and fan it a little bit just to get the smoke going. So again, I'm going to stand in the center of the room, fanning the resin in a counterclockwise, or excuse me, a clockwise motion, and continuing to do the same pattern, the same work that I did at the beginning, and really hit that center point before I take it into the corners of the space. So now I'm going to show you how to smudge yourself. So I'm starting at my head and I'm taking that fan and I'm bringing it all the way down my center points. I'm thinking about my chakras and every single center point that I want to make sure gets cleansed. So now I'm going to trail my arm with the smoke, allowing the smoke to completely cleanse all the way down to my fingertips and bring it all the way back down. Remember, I'm setting intention, I'm clearing, and I'm going to go over even on the sides here, and then I'm going to go over the top here as well, clearing the energies all around me. Go over my head, around me, and then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side as well. So now I'm going to just show you that I'm going all the way down to the very bottom towards my feet. I'm making sure I'm cleansing the top of my feet and getting everything. And then I'm going to go underneath each foot, making sure that I'm cleansing it. The feet are really powerful energy centers. They send energy in and out of the body. So you want to make sure you're clearing your feet and cleansing your feet whenever you do sage. Go around it and make sure you're going also around your ankles as well. The next part of this is making sure that you cleanse your back. A lot of people forget to do this part. You can actually leave the smoke at the center of your back and kind of go around and let it go up the back of your head. If you're worried about it getting too close to you, you can put it in the bowl and just let it sit at the base of your spine. And the smoke will obviously rise. I'm blowing on it now, but I'm going around the base and then I'm also letting it hit the back of my head and the nape of my neck because that is also an energy point, and I want to make sure that I'm not excluding my back from the cleansing process. And I'm also going around my waist, and I'll also do it on the other side as well because the energy centers go all the way around you and behind you, so you want to make sure everything is getting cleansed. So this next part I'm going to show you is all about the auric field. We're going to sage and cleanse our auric field, which is all around us. I know this looks like I'm doing a yoga pose and it looks a little crazy, but the purpose of this is that you're getting the chakras that are below your feet and that you're getting your auric field and the chakras that are above your head. People do not cleanse those areas because they're not thinking about them. But your auric field goes out and extends out like 20 feet outside of your physical body. So you want to be cleansing and clearing and thinking about that as well. It's also a really great way to hold more of a vibrational space for your own energy and to make sure that as you are emitting energy out in space, it is of the highest vibration. Now again, I'm going to be going over every chakra point: my crown, my third eye, my throat chakra, my heart chakra, solar plexus, sacral, and my root. But I don't want to forget about all the other energy points that may need my energetic support and attention. Okay, so I have just finished smudging this area of the house. So I obviously would do the entire house, but I live in a big space, so it's gonna take me a little bit longer than that. It'd take me a couple, like maybe an hour or two to double back, and I usually do that. So what I would do now, the space is filled with this really great and powerful scent. I'm going to go and open up the main windows here on this side and allow that energy that has been now cleansed to have a place to vacate. So I'll show you guys that. All right, so the window is open now. The reason why it's so important to make sure that once you're done cleansing, that you open the windows up and you let the smoke out is because you don't want this energy, because you're cleansing the negative space. It is going to need a chance to clear out. Opening the space also too allows the smell. If you're too sensitive to smoke, it allows the smoke to clear out and allows the fresh air and the air from the outside to come in and also support the work as well. So I'm gonna open up this one, I'm gonna open up another window and just allow the space to breathe now, unencumbered by any of the stagnancy. And I can actually hear the house making noises because it's been a little bit of a while since I saged, and it does feel much better in here. And while I was saging, actually through this main window, which is like a huge window that we have here, there was a hummingbird that was just like, it wasn't like busy in the trees or whatever. It literally was facing into the window, like looking in to see what was going on in the space. And so like that to me was a really great sign that there was activity happening and that the work was really present and prominent. As a little message from spirit, like, oh, like there's magic happening, and the birds saw it. So that was really, really special. But yeah, you guys, this is it. This is the basics. And of course, there are tons of different ways for you to sage and cleanse your space. But as you saw, I was hitting every single corner. I was going not only high up on the corners of the ceiling, but I was also making sure I was getting down below on the floor, in the crevices and in between spaces. You really want to go behind furniture if you have an opportunity to, and make sure you're getting in the spaces. And all the while you're setting intention. Maybe you're chanting, this place is cleansed, this space is cleansed, this space is cleansed. No negativity can exist in this space. I ask you to leave now. I ask you to leave now. I ask you to be cleansed out now. I ask that my spirit guides, my ancestors, my angels protect me in this space as I am clearing away the negativity, the stagnancy, the fear, the anxiety, whatever is happening in the space. As I cleanse and clear this space, I ask that it be cleansed and removed, and that when I open these windows, it rushes out and my space is renewed. And as you saw, I cleanse myself, because that's also a really important part of smudging, is that you don't just want to smudge your space, you want to smudge yourself, because sometimes you are the negative energy. Sometimes you are the negative energy that's in the space. And so whenever you're doing a cleansing of the space, you want to make sure you're cleansing yourself as well. I would even go as far to say cleansing yourself first, and then going outside of yourself and making sure that the space supports you. But if you feel like it's not you and you feel like it's a space, even still, I would make sure at some point during the smudging ritual that you smudge yourself intentionally around the head and chakra points and your whole entire auric field, making sure that you get every little piece of yourself cleansed and clear and prepared to do whatever work you want to do moving forward. So that is it, you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching my video. And if you like this, please go ahead and share this video and hit the thumbs up button. That really helps me. And I will see you guys in my next video. Be blessed.